Hello everyone, my name is Karen. I want to tell you my story about my parents' indifference and how they regretted it. My mom and dad are busy people. They often were away at work. Whenever I came up to them and asked them to play with me, draw or brag about my excellent grades at school, they would shave me off. I mean, they always said they didn't have time. I used to call them on the phone, but all I heard in return were dropped calls. It was so frustrating. I understood that they were working for me, like for my future and everything, but I just could not understand why they didn't want to spend time with me. My relationship with my parents has always been like that. My babysitter raised me, and I just adored her because she was like a mother to me. But she was old, and anyway, she died. I mourned her a lot, and my parents just hired someone else. To them, she was just an employee. But to me, she was my whole world. I wondered who I would talk to before I went to bed at night. She would always tell me great bedtime stories and praise me and rejoice at my good grades. I once shared my worries with my mother, and we almost fought. Oh, Karen, come on. I know she was a nice old lady, but there's a lot of them. I'm interviewing a new nanny. She will be no less qualified, competent, so don't worry. Maybe she'll be even better. You don't understand, Mom. It's not about qualifications or whatever. I need her, my babysitter, you know? Why are you so hysterical? You can't bring her back. I'm sorry, too. Nannies charge almost 1.5 times as much now, and we were paying her less. Oh my gosh, Mom, you measure everything in money. It's that time of the year. When you go to work, you'll see. How much would you pay to get me back if I died? What are you talking about? Me and Daddy are saving for your future. Why would you die anyway? You could just say you love me. Then my mom's phone rang, as usual, and she walked right out of my room without even answering my last words. Yeah, you're not very sentimental, I muttered to myself and started leafing through the pictures with the babysitter and crying. The next day, candidates for a new nanny came to our house, and I went to school. My friend Tessa brought me my favorite white chocolate to comfort me. Then she suggested we go to my nanny's grave. I was glad. Thank you. You and the babysitter seem to be the only ones in this world who understand my feelings. Mom doesn't care. Not my dad. He doesn't even look at me. He's always on his laptop. Don't worry. When you grow up, you'll be rich and be able to get out of there. With a calculus like my mom's, I'll get exactly 10% of my fortune and I'll have to work for the rest. Money is evil, like my mom says. You can live happier without it. I would give anything for happiness. We went to the grave after school. Tessa bought a beautiful bouquet of white roses. She knew and loved her too. Then, some woman came up to us. She was all in black and crying bitterly. She wasn't even paying attention to us, just yelling, "Mommy, mommy, mommy." And that's when it hit me. In 15 years of working for us, my nanny had never once visited her daughter. She kept telling me that she had a child, but she refused to communicate with her. So when the woman calmed down, I asked who she was. I'm Ashley, her daughter. God, I'm so sorry I haven't talked to her in all these years. Mommy, I'm so sorry. Why didn't you talk to her? I had a job, or rather I do. I always thought that was more important. I didn't even come to her birthday party. At most, I wrote a short message. And now she's gone, and I never even had a chance to hug her. Nanny had a big heart. She often talked about you and prayed every day for your health. Then Ashley got hysterical, and Tessa pulled me out of there to leave them alone. That's what grown-ups do. They disappear first, and then they regret it. But by then, it's too late. Exactly. Exactly what? I have an idea. I need your help. Then I had a crazy plan in my head. I knew it was crazy, but if the result was worth it, I was willing to take the risk. Are you curious to know what I came up with? Write your options in the comments. In the meantime, I'll continue my story. That day, I got home and told my mom that I had been to my babysitter's grave. She was very indignant, forbade me to go there, said she was still a stranger, and then introduced me to my new nanny. It was a young girl named Tina. It was obvious from her that she basically didn't care about kids, just that my mom was paying good money, and she was willing to put on a smile for them. As soon as my mom walked out the door, she lay down on the couch, pulled out her phone, and told me to go to do my homework. I texted my mom that I didn't like her, to which I got the reply, "But I like her, her references and resume. Don't be stubborn, I pay money for her." Then I informed her that I had a gig at school and asked her to come to support me, and my mom texted, "Let Tina go." Honestly, it hurt me to the point of tears. My late babysitter went to all my performances, took pictures, applauded the loudest, even when I was losing. I gave my parents one last chance and texted my dad about the performance, to which he replied with 2 short words, "I'm busy." I texted Tessa to act on the plan. I checked on Tina myself. She was lying with her phone and wasn't even paying attention to me. Under the guise of lessons, I went into my room, then into the bathroom, made a little mess, scattered pills, stained the walls a little with red paint, sprinkled a couple of shards of a broken mug on the floor, and painted a red trail behind me leading into my room. And on the mirror, I wrote in pink lipstick, "Now you don't have to pay for me." I climbed over the window where Tessa was waiting with tissues and water. We ran into the backyard. I washed my face, put on her hooded sweatshirt, pants, goggles, and a cap, and we drove to her house. An hour later, she called my house and asked the babysitter to get me on the phone. Tina said, "Just a minute," and went upstairs with the phone. We heard her footsteps as she called my name, and then there was a high-pitched scream of, "Ah! Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God!" Tina was yelling into the phone, like, "What happened? Where's Karen?" And she was just running back and forth, apparently dropping the phone. Then she called my mom. The whole time we were on the line. I could hear Tina talking about what she saw. That was it. Mom was on her way home, from the looks of it. Next, Tessa and I ran to my late nanny's cemetery, where she helped me paint my body red again. We symbolically arranged the flowers, and I lay down in a comfortable position as if to embrace the bouquet and laid sideways on the ground. I put a piece of paper next to me, where I wrote in stubby handwriting, "You are the only one who loved me," and froze. Tessa ran to her house just as her phone rang, and it was my mother. She hysterically asked if she'd seen me the last time she talked to me. Tessa made a confused look, asked what was wrong, and played along with tears and consternation. My parents rushed over to her house, started asking what I'd been saying to her lately, and here was my friend's main role to get the word out. "Karen cried all the time for the babysitter. She said that you refused to come to her performances at school, that she was lonely and missed her babysitter. Karen also said she was jealous of kids whose parents were poor because they loved each other even without money." "How could she think that?" "Well, when was the last time you told her you loved her?" "She's right. We're bad parents, and we forgot the most important thing. She did write to me. She invited me to the show. We should have gone to her." My parents started crying. They didn't know where I was or if I was okay. "Tessa, where could she be right now?" "Only one place." They jumped in the car and drove straight to the cemetery. I heard my parents screaming, and I honestly wasn't expecting that. I didn't think they would be that upset. My body was numb by then. I couldn't feel my legs or arms, but I couldn't move. My makeup turned out great. Pale face, plus I was freezing. They were screaming, shaking me, crying, and I was confused because I hadn't thought about what to do next. And then it rained hard and windy, and my paint started to wash off. When my parents looked up, they saw that I was lying clean, and I had already opened my eyes. "Hi, Dad. Hi, Mom. How do you like my performance?" Oh, I will not repeat verbatim what words flew out of them. A lot was going on, but I was saved by my Tessa. She stopped them by saying that it could have been like this if things had continued the way they were, and my parents stopped talking. Then my dad came closer and said what I longed to hear. "We love you, daughter." Don't get me wrong, I was grounded for a month. I was deprived of the internet and walks. But you know, the whole time there was no need for me to be bored. Nanny got fired, and now my mom works part-time and spends the rest of the time with me, doing homework, attending all the events at my school, bedtime chatting, and cooking dinner. Sometimes to understand how much you care about someone, you have to remind them a little bit that you are in their life. Tell me, guys, did you like my story? Write your opinion about it in the comments below the video. Don't forget to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel.